Welcome back, truth seekers and guardians of the heart. You have tuned into Whatever You Need, the only digital sanctuary where we refuse to look away when the spotlight dims and the shadows lengthen. Tonight, we are not discussing a red carpet triumph or a new blockbuster deal. We are stepping into the delicate, often terrifying fragility of the human experience. We are reconstructing a night that shook the foundations of one of Turkey's most beloved couples. A night when Kerem Bürsin, a man known for his visibility and charm, simply vanished. And a night when Hande Erçel faced the dawn with tears in her eyes, waiting for a key to turn in the lock. If you are ready to understand the weight of fame and the resilience of love, you are in the right place. Before we walk through the events of this mysterious evening, please ensure you have subscribed to our channel. For those who want to support deep, empathetic storytelling, the join button is your gateway to our inner circle. Your likes are the light in the dark, and your comments are the conversation that matters. Now let us turn back the clock to the night everything was turned upside down. It began as the most deceptive of nights usually do, with absolute normalcy. Hande Erçel and Kerem Bürsin were in the sanctuary of their shared home, enjoying the rare quiet that their hectic lives seldom afford them. It was a domestic scene painted in warm tones, safety, comfort, and the simple joy of togetherness. However, the atmosphere shifted on a dime, triggered by the vibration of a phone. Reports indicate that Kerem received a series of text messages. To the outside observer, nothing seemed out of the ordinary. But Hande, whose intuition is attuned to the micro-expressions of her partner, noticed a change. The relaxed demeanor vanished, replaced by a thoughtful, almost heavy expression that clouded Kerem's face. Despite this internal shift, Kerem attempted to maintain the facade. As he always does, he smiled, a reflex to protect those around him, and downplayed the sudden weight on his shoulders. "I need some fresh air," he said. It was a simple sentence, a common request. Hande, trusting the routine of their lives, assumed it was just a walk to clear his head. She didn't worry. She didn't panic. Not yet. The true horror of the night did not lie in the departure, but in the duration. Fresh air usually implies 20 minutes, perhaps an hour. But as the clock ticked past midnight, the silence in the house grew deafening. At first, it was thought to be a short break. But when Hande picked up the phone to check in, she was met with the digital void. Kerem's phone was off. Messages went undelivered. His location services, a modern tether between partners, were disabled. For a man whose movements are usually documented by fans and social media, this total blackout was terrifyingly out of character. Hande Erçel reportedly shifted from confusion to acute anxiety. She began to reach out to his inner circle, her voice laced with panic. He would never do something like this, something must have happened. The fear was not unfounded. According to those who know Kerem best, disappearing without a trace is antithetical to his nature. He is a communicator, a man of responsibility. The anomaly of the situation suggested a crisis. As the hours bled into the early morning, the tension leaked from the private sphere into the public domain. The silence was so profound that it began to gain traction on social media. Fans, who tracked the couple's digital footprint with forensic accuracy, noticed the void. The conversation kept going all night with comments like, "Where is Kerem?" and "Is everything all right?" The virtual world was buzzing with worry, while the physical world offered no clues. Members of the press, sensing a story, visited the locations Kerem frequently haunts, gyms, cafes, favorite viewpoints. They found nothing. He was nowhere to be found. The mystery deepened and the silence remained unbroken. Back at the house, the scene was heartbreaking. It was reported that Hande cried during these dark hours, a solitary figure waiting for the sound of a car or a footstep. She stayed awake until dawn, a vigil of love and terror, constantly calling her family for support but unable to find peace. The psychological toll of such a weight is immense. The mind cycles through every worst-case scenario, from accidents to scandals. Hande was left to navigate this labyrinth of fear alone, protected only by the walls of a house that suddenly felt very empty. Then, as the first gray light of dawn began to bleed into the sky, the resolution arrived. Around 5 a.m., Kerem finally appeared. But this was not a triumphant return. It was as quiet and ghostly as his departure. He returned home keeping his distance from the prying eyes of the world, but his physical state told the story. He was described as tired, worried, and deeply emotional. He wasn't returning from a party, he was returning from a battle with himself. As soon as Hande Erçel saw Kerem at the door, the dam broke. It was a collision of contradictory emotions, shock that he was safe, anger that he had left, anxiety about his state, and profound, knee-weakening relief. She resented being left alone in the dark, a feeling any partner would understand. But as she looked at him, the weary expression on Kerem's face conveyed a sense of urgency that quelled the immediate rage. The atmosphere in the house became emotionally charged within minutes. This was not a fight, it was a reckoning. In the safety of the morning light, the truth finally emerged. Kerem spoke in detail for the first time about the burden he had been carrying in silence. It wasn't a third party, and it wasn't a lack of love. It was the crushing weight of existence. The stress he had recently experienced, the intense work schedule, and the mounting expectations of his personal life had led him to a feeling of being stuck, a psychological claustrophobia. Kerem was heard saying words that are heartbreaking in their honesty. "I can't remember a single time I've felt so trapped. I wanted a moment to think, but without realizing it, I dragged you into this uncertainty." He admitted that his need for escape had inadvertently caused pain to the person he loved most. He had tried to outrun the pressure, only to realize that you cannot run away from your own mind. After spending most of the night in anguish, Hande expressed her feelings to her lover with complete honesty. For her, the problem wasn't simply the disappearance, it was the breach of partnership. Leaving without warning had damaged the fragile nature of their trust. However, Kerem's sincere explanation, his vulnerability, his admission of weakness, gradually replaced Hande's resentment with deep compassion. For long hours as the sun fully rose, the couple sat in silence, talked, thought, and embraced. They offered each other comfort in the wreckage of the night. The tabloids reported that the day had a far more positive impact on the couple's relationship than anyone could have anticipated. It seems it was the first time they had reached such a level of raw transparency. They stripped away the celebrity personas and met simply as two humans trying to survive the pressure. I want to pause here and ask you, the whatever you need family, have you ever felt that need to just run away? To turn off your phone and vanish because the pressure of being you became too much? We often look at stars like Kerem and assume their lives are easy, but do you think this incident humanizes him? Does it make you respect him more for admitting he felt trapped? Let's discuss mental health and the weight of expectations in the comments below. The comments from the couple's inner circle following this mysterious night are shocking and revealing. Allegedly, Kerem's sudden disappearance wasn't just a moment to collect his thoughts, but the catalyst for a major life change. His friends say, "We'd never seen him like this, he was so full. He had reached his capacity." Rumors suggest that Kerem is now willing to seek professional help to navigate these feelings, a brave and necessary step. He has decided to reevaluate his work schedule, prioritizing his mental health over the relentless grind of the industry. And Hande? She has been his rock. Despite her initial fear, her compassion from the early hours of the morning deeply moved Kerem. She didn't judge him for breaking, she helped him put the pieces back together. In the wake of this emotional storm, the couple has reportedly made a decision to prioritize their bond. It is rumored that they have decided to accelerate a short vacation they had been planning for some time, but had been postponing due to work. According to close friends, this getaway is no longer a luxury, it is a necessity. It will be an opportunity to renew, to calm their relationship, and to breathe air that isn't thick with expectation. Kerem's sudden disappearance that night sparked a huge controversy. Social media panicked, the press speculated, and minutes felt like years. But in the midst of the storm, they managed to reconnect. Everything that happened reminded them once again that communication is the lifeline of love. If even the darkest moment of the night gave way to light, the reason was clear. Despite the fear, despite the silence, and despite the pressure, Kerem and Hande were not willing to give up on each other. They chose understanding over anger, and in doing so, they turned a potential breakup into a breakthrough. We will continue to send our best wishes to the couple as they navigate this healing process. If this deep dive into the reality behind the headlines touched you, please hit the like button. It helps us share these important stories of human resilience. Subscribe to whatever you need and ring the bell so you never miss an update. And for those who want to be part of our storytelling mission, the join button is waiting for you. Thank you for watching, and remember, sometimes you have to get lost to find out who really cares enough to look for you. Until next time.